Here, first practice after qualifying on Pit Pass Live, and as you can see, a cloud on the day in several ways, but of course on track. They got just over an hour in before lightning started and then this rain started. That'll be all for today's practice. The 2-hour session got cut just about in half, and unfortunately the biggest news of the session is that we did get our first crash here in the month of May on the oval, and right now things are kind of up in the air. For those of you who didn't see, Alexander Rossi, somebody who usually has great control, right? Like he's not somebody who gets in a lot of crashes that are self-inflicted. He just lost it going into turn 2 after starting P2 or placing P2 in qualifying yesterday. Rossi lost it going into turn 2. He ricocheted off the wall. Car came back and hit the number 5 car of Pato O'Ward, and then also Romain Grosjean got caught in the crosshairs there as well. So all 3 of those gentlemen went to the medical center in the infield here at IMS. Grosjean, O'Ward, seen, released, and cleared from the medical center, but however, Alexander Rossi did not get the same fortune of those other 2. Rossi was in the medical center for, I believe, about an hour and a half before getting any clearance, and he did not get that clearance. He's actually being transported to a local hospital. It looked like he may have been limping a bit coming out of the car, but no word for sure on exactly what the injuries or issues to Rossi are, but it is very concerning. And so let's get the perspective of Pato O'Ward, who we did get a couple minutes to talk to see what he saw in that crash.
How you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm good. Wrong place, wrong time.
What happened from your perspective?
I saw Rossi spinning, and it's really tough to stop these cars in the middle, especially in the middle of a corner when you smash the brake, and it's obviously very heavily rearwards, and they don't really have a lot of stopping power with how we all run the brakes. So at that point I was just trying to kind of get away with it, but as soon as I called the car down, because I knew Rossi's car was going to bounce off the wall, if not I would have probably T-boned them. That's where the rear kind of went from me and lost it there. So just feel for the guys that got to rebuild a new car, but I'm sure they're going to build me something that's going to feel like nothing happened.
Is this a big setup, a big setback for you?
For me?
Yeah.
No. I've had plenty of hits here, I'll be able to get back in it just like nothing happened, and I know my guys will be able to replace whatever it is that's damaged to make sure that we're right back where we were, 'cause that the car is strong. Yeah, it's just, man, we're going so fast, and these cars are all on a knife's edge, and well, at least mine is, and that's how you gotta run it if you want to be competitive. And when you want to run there in the middle of the pack, these risks can happen, and it was just a wrong place, wrong time, and just glad everybody involved is all right. Glad Alex is okay, Roman is okay. So
So like I said, it is Alexander Rossi now in the hospital. We hope he's all right. I'll set up the contingency and what we could see happen if Alexander Rossi cannot be in a race car in 6 days. ECR's reserve driver is Hunter McElroy, who New Zealand fans will probably remember the name at least a little bit, did a couple of years in Indy Lights, and then in 2024 he drove in 1 race on the streets of Toronto. He has never done an oval in his IndyCar career. As many of you know, if you can remember going back to the open test and everything, you have to complete your rookie orientation program, which of course McElroy would be a rookie in this case scenario. IndyCar only sets those 2 open test days for that orientation program to happen. However, the rulebook, as many rules are written in the IndyCar rulebook, kind of leaves things open to interpretation in a way, saying that unless he could be otherwise approved essentially to do his ROP program. So if it is needed, I think ECR would be able to contact IndyCar and ask if Hunter McElroy could do that ROP program. But at the same time, from IndyCar's perspective, you have a guy who hasn't driven on an oval, especially not the IMS oval. I'm not sure how that would work. Of course, you can also call up a veteran, but they would also have to complete their refresher program. And so when you look at that, it's like, who is the ECR veteran that they could call up, right? Like last year, and the year before that with Kyle Larson, it was obvious it was Tony Kanaan for Arrow McLaren, right? They have a very experienced oval driver that I'm sure IndyCar would have been perfectly fine with doing the race, given Tony Kanan's experience doing so. The only person like that working with ECR, of course, is Ed Carpenter himself, who is still racing himself in that number 33 entry. So it's a weird scenario all around. And I don't want to jump the gun, but we do know that Alexander Rossi is in the hospital, which signifies that it's serious. How serious? Is it something that will keep him from driving in 8,500? That we do not know, but that's kind of the setup of everything there. If Rossi has to go to a backup car, which I'm fairly sure he will, the backup car can still start on the front row if Rossi is driving it. So if Rossi can drive on Sunday, even if he's in a backup car, he will be P2 to start the race. If Rossi is replaced by another driver, regardless of the car, that car goes to the back of the starting grid. So if it's Hunter McElroy or somebody else driving the number 20 car for ECR on Sunday, that car will start from the last row of the grid. I'm not sure if it would be able to start 31st ahead of Kyle Collette and Jack Harvey, since they failed those post-race tech inspections that I'll get to in just a bit, or if it would be completely 33rd regardless of Harvey and Collette failing those tech inspections. So not sure when our next update on Rossi will be. We won't have another Pit Pass Live until Friday, so for updates on that, please go to IndyStar.com/motor-sports and /sports/motor-sports, and we will continue to update the situation as we get updates and as we receive news on Alexander Rossi's status. I mentioned the failed tech inspections. After we recorded Pit Pass Live yesterday, and basically after I left IMS even, we learned that the number 4 car and the number 24 car, the number 4 car driven by Kyle Collette and the number 24 of Jack Harvey, failed post-qualifying tech inspections due to having illegal modifications to their energy management system covers. Those of you who were around last year, remember last year's race, well, no, that sounds familiar. That is what disqualified Marcus Ericsson and Kyle Kirkwood for the race last year. Those two teams that are involved this year, AJ Foyt Racing for Collette and Dreyer and Reinbold Racing for Jack Harvey, they were given a chance to appeal, but actually both owners came out, or in the case of AJ Foyt, it was Larry Foyt, the team principal, or the team president rather. They both came out and accepted the penalties and kind of apologized for making those unapproved modifications to those Dallara EMS systems. So Collette now will start 32nd, Harvey will start 33rd. The reason Collette will start in front of Harvey does not have to do with where they finished in qualifying yesterday, but it's just about entrant points. And so, of course, Jack Harvey, not being a full-time driver, came into the week with 0 points on the season. So Kyle Collette immediately, even as a rookie, gets that 32nd spot instead of the 33rd. All in the semantics of it there, but really upsetting, obviously, for Kyle Collette, who is going to start 10th in the race. He's going to be the highest starting rookie, and really, from the open test until now, even putting the GP in the middle, not that it counts towards the oval, he was having a great couple of weeks here at IMS. Seemed really comfortable in comparison to the other rookies, Dennis Hauger, Mick Schumacher, and Jacob Abel, who's back, obviously, getting a chance to actually do his first Indy 500 this year. And so now Kyle Collette is kind of put at a disadvantage. He'll be the last rookie in the field all the way on that back row, and for Jack Harvey only getting this one race a year anyway. Very unfortunate that he will have to start in 33rd. Like I said, as far as on-track stuff, we didn't get a lot outside of the crash, just because there was a yellow flag. It took, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes to clean up everything from that crash. And then they got maybe another half an hour out there until the lightning and the rain and the thunder began. So not much there. I did think it was interesting. Ryan Hunter-Reay trying to get those hot stops in for his team. For those of you who haven't seen it, I will have more on this week actually on the site. Ryan Hunter-Reay is driving that number 31 entry for Aaron McLaren, and with Legacy Motorsports as his pit crew. Legacy Motorsports, for the NASCAR fans out there, is of course the team that Jimmy Johnson owns in NASCAR. So if he's getting a NASCAR team over to do his pit stops, the pit crew was here a few weeks ago for the open test, but they were not here last week for practice and qualifying. So it's very important for Hunter-Reay in that 31 car to get those pit stops in this week. And talked to him a bit today, but it sounds like he didn't get as much as he did want to get in. But we'll see how that kind of progresses throughout the week. Once again, I'll have Rossi updates on our site and our written content, so please stay tuned for that. Of course, we at the IndyStar hope that he is all right. We'll see you again on Car Friday here on Pit Pass Live.